Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to TwoCrazyShuckers Creations. Today, I want to try this mushroom mold. As you can see, I have tried it before, and I wasn't very successful at it. So, I've been sitting here trying to think about what I wanted to use. As much as I would love to use glitter, I think that glitter left too many issues and air bubbles in regards to the all the painting that you have to do when it's done. So I think we're going to go with red. I'm going to use this maroon Let's Resin mica powder from the Let's Resin set. And put that away. I'm going to see if I can find some, let me see. I don't use red a lot. That's pale red. Coffee. Peach. I'm sorry, I should have had this out before I started. But I really didn't know what I was going to do today. I'm trying to get back into the swing of making the videos again. Last week was spring break for school. That is rose. Well, I know that I have red. I think I need to move some of this stuff out of the way so that I can see my colors a little bit better here on the sides, maybe. There we go. I have red. Okay, let me put these back. So I'm going to dig out a cup. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this double stick tape just to make sure there's nothing left in the mold from previous use. Like I said, I've tried this a couple of times and it was not successful. So we're going to try it again today and hope for a little more success. I am going to fill it to about, let's go, let me see. I'm going to go about 10 mils. If we have leftovers, I'll put it into the Keychain mold. And today we're using the Let's Resin UV hard type. This is just the regular. This isn't like the high viscosity or anything. So then I love this maroon red. If you can't tell, I use it all the time. Wipe this lid off a little bit because it seems like I've got it everywhere, which I do. I'm going to open it back here so that it doesn't get into my mold because it seems to be all over the place. So I'm just going to wipe the edge off a little bit. And I just want a little bit because, like I said, in previous videos, we need to be able to get that light through the UV resin. So I'm not going to be adding much. And I mean, that's just a minute amount. Maybe we've made that less messy. Oh, mica powder. So we have, that's the maroon. And then I'm going to use the Let's Resin alcohol ink in red. And I'm just going to do 2 drops of that. My next video, I'm so inspired by Steve McDonald's video where he did a bloom with UV resin. And the technique is fascinating to me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try that and see how I can do. I'm just going to use like a teardrop mold, I think. And it just our regular UV resin teardrop from Crafty 787. That's who this mold is from. And if you check the description box, there's links for Crafty and Let's Resin, as well as our glitter. We're an ambassador with Glitter Chick, so you can get a discount on her glitters. I did choose to put a little bit more mica powder in, and as you can see, it got everywhere, even in my mold. So let's clean this out a little bit. That is disappointing. I guess you might try painting the mold too. I just don't have very good luck when I have to paint something and I've painted the mold. Because when you wipe with the alcohol to remove the excess paint, the what you painted on the mold seems to wear off or wipe off. I think I showed that in our very first video. So that is a beautiful, beautiful color. I love it. I think it's mixed good enough. We're going to make some little red mushrooms. Now, the first part I'm going to put down is just that little beauty coat so that we can make sure all of the details are going to be filled in on all the edges. I am going to get out a dotting tool to do this. Oh, maybe I am. Actually, it's one of these little tools from the Dollar Tree. Oh, a little FYI. I got these from Dollar Tree. They're probably, I believe they are to attach the stamps to, for stamping. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. I did save packaging to show you. Yes, it's a stamp block. They come from Dollar Tree. I put double stick tape on them. And then when I am curing things in the lamp, you can move things to and from the lamp and the light can get through. So I gave them a try. The resin does peel off any excess that you have on there, and they work great. So that's always an idea of something you can use when you're doing things like this. So all I'm doing is just going over the details, and there is an outline on the edge that I want to be, you know, that I want that detail to show as well. So all I'm doing is just running over it. And I just had to make sure I was recording. For some reason, I thought I did forget to put my phone in airplane mode. So we'll see how that goes. As you can see, there's a lot of bubbles in here. So we're just going to try to make sure we get those out. Just going to let that flow a little bit. You know, I was thinking about like the red mushrooms with the little white details. That is what I'm going for here. So as you can see, I got a little bit too much in there. It does look like this is quite opaque, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. I'm going to take a little bit out of there. And I'm going to get out my little extra keychain mold. And I'm going to put that into it. But first, I'm going to get these bubbles out. And I'm just going to let it sit for a moment as well. Just going to get out the ones that I can see. Then we're just going to let it sit there. I want to make sure I get up around this edge. And I'm going to go all along the edge of this little mold to make sure we get it. There we go. Now I do see a little bubble right there. And then I'm going to go along this edge. And up there. I am not going to do these because I feel like these would be cuter without that little circle detail. I'm not going to do them in the stud style. I'm going to get a little This is, you know, one of those canvas boards that you get from up there at Dollar Tree. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put this extra, because I did pour way too much. Probably only needed 5 mils. And then, I'm sure I'm out of frame. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm getting used to all this again. I will throw this into here for our extra keychains, extras that we use in our Etsy orders. I gotta wipe this mess up here. Put that up into the lamp. These extras that I'm talking about are like these. There's a little sticker added there. This was from some shamrock earrings that I did. I believe I've showed that before. This is from the Broken Heart earrings. I poured way too much glitter. There's just a whole lot of air bubbles on this one. So before I can do the top coat, I really need a lot of fixing to do in there. And I've been working on getting these stud earrings, some Easter ones made. That one Easter egg mold, we did one pair of the earrings and then a stud, but I also got this tiny, it's a double egg and then a single egg stud. And how cute are those? Maybe I can get it open and show you. Oh, let's see. Well, okay, as you can see, I don't have my mold level right there. So we're going to make sure that gets to be level. This is, I'm going to come closer so that I can see myself. See the little, I want to make these Easter eggs so much. This one's cute too, but I really love this top stud one. So I'm going to try that later today. And again, this mold is from Crafty787 shop. She has Etsy, and then if you use our code on her website, you get a 10% discount. I'm going to take some of this Let's Resin Black, and I'm just going to put some dots in here just to fill it up a little bit more. And then I'm going to swirl everything. We'll see how it comes out. I'm going to add some of the Let's Resin Pre-Tinted White as well. And then I'm just going to take my little dotting tool that I have already out. And I'm just going to swirl it around. That way, none of that resin goes to waste. And we can make a cute little keychain out of it. Now we're going to get all that out of there. I'm going to use this little, the only reason I use this little white canvas is to slide that into my, my UV lamp. Let's Resin has reached out and they're going to be sending us their new cordless UV lamp. And I am excited to try it. I will make a video of that as well. So I did have some residual bubbles that did come up. And I do see some little air pockets along that edge. Nothing major. Everything looks really, really good. So we're going to stick those in the UV lamp as well. I will put you on pause and I will be right back. We are on the last few seconds of the demold before we can demold those mushrooms, but I thought I would show you these I'm working on. I used sand from our beach trip. I was working on some experimenting when I did the memorial pieces. And so I had this extra resin with the sand in it. So then I took some little tiny nail charms and I added those and then coated over them until they were completely smooth. So instead of hanging this way, this pair of earrings hang this way. Aren't those fun? So the lamp just stopped. So first I'll see how this did. That looks interesting. It is completely hardened. I don't see anything on the front side of this. It's a little sticky. Yeah, that needs a few more seconds. So we're gonna stick that back into the lamp and we'll look at that in a moment. And we'll put this mold over there. And I am gonna wipe my hands off just because it was a little bit sticky. It wasn't great. Okay. So then here are our mushrooms. I'm hopeful that we don't have any air bubbles around all the details, but here we go. Oh, we have an air bubble right there, but I think they might be okay. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, they're nice and hard. These ones look a little bit better. This one looks a little bit better. This mold is a tricky mold. But as you can see, we have the details that we need to paint white. And then we'll have to top coat over them. I'm going to stick them up in the Let's Resin lamp up here. This mold available at Crafty787. And we also have a stud mold as well. So I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to paint these with a chalk white paint. So I was going to say, I have opened this. Oh, this is a mess. Yuck. I do leave it so that it's pourable. I know that looks weird. Oh, wow, what a mess. Sorry about that. And I am going to take one of my little silicone tools here. The one that has the nice, like, edge on it that makes it so much easier to paint on. And I'll pour a little bit of paint into a cup. And I don't really know where this paint came from, but it's Art Skills. It might have come from Dollar General, would be my guess. Ooh, that is a lot of paint. Okay. And then we'll put that away. I also have this one too that I use for black sometimes, but a lot of times I just use the acrylic paint markers as you've seen me use in the past. Today with this mold, we are going to use this chalk paint and see if it goes in better on these details. Because we have stars, we have dots, we have a moon. Down here we have a little bit of plants, like a floral stem. So we're going to see how it goes. Because then we have to get along this edge as well. I'm going to pick this up. I'm just going to push it along this edge. You have to go in all directions when painting. And I know I'm monotonous about the painting. It's one of the things I dislike the most. I don't know why. It's because of the air bubbles, all the work you put into it, and then one air bubble can ruin everything. So I'm just going to take that along that edge. You can see the details. I'm not having very good luck getting in that one edge right there. If you have any advice on how to paint details differently or in a better way than what I do, please let me know. I would love any advice on how to get these details filled in on these molds, because it really does make them super cute, but it's so hard. So I'm going to try to get off as much of the excess as I can. I'm going to wipe my tool off with a baby wipe. If I can get just one out. Sorry. So then I'm going to take a small, tiny piece of paper towel. And I'm going to try wiping this. I see a lot of people doing it this way, so I'm going to try it this way and see what happens without trying to get too much out of the detail itself. Okay. These are probably going to take a couple of coats. That's okay. All right. Clean that up. And we'll get out the second earring and give it a go. Now, it seems to be the problem that's not curing. Oh, that's stuck to something that was on my tray. Nope, that was excess resin coming out of the middle that came out of the hole, which is fine. We can still work with it. We'll just have to clean this up a whole lot. And we'll have to re-drill the hole. But it is quite soft still, not a problem. You just throw it back in the curing lamp. It will cure. May take a little bit longer, but it will cure. Maybe I should do a comparison. If I paint one with an acrylic marker and then do one this way, which works better? Kind of too late now. We're just going to go with this way of doing it today. Oh, there's a huge air bubble right there on the edge, but we'll fix that. Once we get the details painted, I'll take some of the high viscosity or this bonding set here, and I'll fill in those air bubbles on the edges so that when we don't have over, it doesn't go over the edge. So I will continue to paint these, and then I will come back when I have both. I think it's going to take 2 coats. I can do that on a time lapse. The second coat, because it'll take these a little bit to dry. This is kind of makes these more of an all-day process. Sometimes it makes it a 2-day process because you have to wait thoroughly for this to get dry before you can clean it up and add any additional coats. And then you have to wait for the additional coats to dry. So painting your earrings takes longer, but as I've stated before, the details make all the difference. So what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to put my little heat gun on these and dry them, speed them up a little bit today. I'm going to try it anyway. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to kind of push the paint into the details without rubbing it off, if that makes sense. It's probably hard to see. So we're going to let those dry, and I will be back, and I will put you on time lapse to finish the paint job. Okay, I am back. So this pair, full disclosure, that I did the time lapse on, they had so many issues. There were bubbles that filled in white. I just was not happy with these. So I have made a new pair. I have painted them. I also, instead of using the chalk paint, I went to this Craft Smart. It's a paint pen. I believe it came from Michael's. Don't quote me on that. I'm much happier with the results. So you have to just shake this pen and then, keep dabbing it down until it comes out. I think I have another one. Yeah, these came from Michael's. I also have other ones that I have not tried yet. So, yeah, I have several of those. As I said, I'm much happier with this result. I still don't have, they're not exactly what I would like them to look like, but I can see the finish line a lot better than I could with that first pair. Now, I do have some spots where they do need to be wiped a little bit more. I am going to kind of go in between with one of these little, you know, fine tip things. And that is wiping more than I would want. So, instead, I'm going to try this. And I'm going to use this Resiners. I put one of the cotton things on the end. I don't know what the technical name is. But I'm just going to go and try to clean up all the edge where I might have some of that paint. And maybe also where the paint got into any bubbles. That'll clean it up quite nicely for you. I will try to remember to link in the description. If not, comment that you'd like to know where it came from, and I will definitely add that for you. I'm just going to try polishing it a little bit with this. And like I said, getting it off the edges and clean it up where I might have any air pockets. I definitely have an air pocket there that I've got to address. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I'm not sure. I like this little tool. If you do a lot of cleaning up, you know, if you have edges to clean, it really works well. Plus, it kind of brings the shine back to the side if you do some sanding. I'm still happier with this pair than I was the first pair. Are they perfect? No, they are not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean up where I see. I'm going to pull the little, and I'm out of frame, I'm sure. How am I going to do this? I'm going to get my handy dandy tool. I don't even know where these come from, if you can get them anymore. I got them off Amazon. But I just want to dig out any paint that I can that's in spots that I don't want it. You can use a little jewelry tool. There are little bubbles that you're not going to be able to fix. But I can fix this. I should have turned the TV down. I went and had a little lunch and I forgot. I was watching a resin person and I forgot to turn the TV down. Yeah, I can live with that one. That's definitely one I'm happier with. I am gonna take a little bit of alcohol that I have in this cup and I'm gonna just clean that out. It's just a matter of dust in there from where I use the little Resiners cloth. But I want to make sure I have all the white paint off in that area. I don't like what that's doing. Yeah, this mold is definitely a challenge for me. I'm going to go back to an alcohol swab. See if I can do any better. That's much better. I can live with that. Oh yeah. Yay. I think that'll work. I'm bring this tool back up so that it's out of my way. I love these little alcohol swabs. So handy. Okay. So let me clean up some of this stuff out of the way. That way we can, like I said, I believe these came from Michael's, but I could be wrong. It could have been this kind that came from Michael's. So don't quote me on that, please. I could be wrong. I am going to pour this back into my container. And I have a plethora of hair ties on there. I just need to pick up a little bit because I can't work with all this mess in the way to finish this pair of earrings. Put away the mica powder. Clean up all of this. Woo, we're getting her now. Put the failed pair over here. Put the alcohol ink away. Then I'm just going to clean off my desk really quick. I know this is probably monotonous to watch. And I apologize, but I'm probably going to have to go shut that TV off because I don't want to have any kind of copyright infringement because of somebody else's YouTube video playing in the background. So I am going to go take care of that right now. You can definitely see the difference in the two pairs of earrings and why I chose to remake them. Bear with me just a moment. And I have kind of went through some stickers. I don't know what that was. To see what we might want to use on this red. Now see the back, it is what it is. It's a little bit of a swirl of black and color in there. Maybe there's a butterfly in here that we can put on that keychain and we'll get that finished as well. I kind of went through my butterfly. They came in a floral package and I went through the ones that would fit on this shape of keychain and I separated them out. Like, how pretty would that be? That's a possibility. These seem like they're bigger than I thought they were. Now this one would be cute because of the back and the colors on the back. And why don't we put it right side up? Ah, I think that's the one I'm going to use. Ah, now I'm getting them everywhere. So those are our dud earrings that we're not going to use. So I just went through, these were several, I think I bought them in one go though. And there were several packages that came. I'll show you what the original packaging looks like, and that way you could find them on Amazon a little bit better. Bear with me just a moment and I'll get those out. They're just here in this drawer. And this is what they look like. They all came in a package. So they're butterflies, love flowers. And you get all of these packages with different colors in them. These are just too big for what we do with them. So there's that. I'm going to stick this sticker on here really quick like to make sure that I like it. I thought I was going to go with a red rose, but that's okay. I think this goes better because of the black, excuse me, on the back. And we'll work on finishing that in between finishing our earrings. I have gone ahead and sanded that. I had that part where it wasn't cured fully. So then when I put it in the lamp the second time, sorry, I have paint everywhere, it fell out through. So I'm going to take this and then just, you know, UV resin over the top of it. But that's for later. First, we're going to work on these. I have these little acrylic things that I showed you earlier. I'm just going to stick that on there. Now, the backs of these are pretty good. I am just going to... Actually, there's really nothing to sand off of there. I don't mind it. I just think I need to clean it up with an alcohol swab. More than anything. Just wiping the edges and the back to make sure that it's nice and clean. These are very soft to the touch. Really no cleanup. I didn't really over pour them too much. I do see some white paint in here though. That's good. And I see some white paint right there. So we've got that one stuck down. Let's clean this edge up. Sorry, out of frame again. You can tell I'm out of practice. Just a week off. How's the weather where you are? The weather here is actually quite beautiful. We are, I think, close to 80 today here in Tennessee. It's nice and sunny out, so I have the windows open. Getting some air in the house, getting it fresh before we have to close it all up and the AC has to run all summer. Because it'll get warm quick. So as you've seen me do before, we are just coating the back. This is just an extra precaution. It makes the earrings look good, but also gives them a nice finish. But it's also an extra little step to keep the resin from touching the skin for any kind of allergy. You should have no allergic reaction to these. So here's somebody with a chainsaw. Somebody must be cutting down some trees. It's quite breezy today, which is nice. Blowing through the curtains, blowing through the house. Yeah, somebody's definitely getting some trees trimmed or something. Okay, so I am just going to take that, let it level out. I'm not going to turn the lamp on. Ooh, that's hard to pick up. But I'm just going to let that sit in the lamp while I get the next one coated. These little... I didn't take the film off this one. These stamp blocks, these work great. I did like the little mats that I showed you previously. They work great too, but they're flimsy. These are nice and solid, so when you're moving it to the lamp, you're not getting anything, you know, coming off the edges or pouring off the edge. So it kind of works out perfectly. I just want to take this clear to the edge to make it look nice and neat and level. I'm sure there are a million different kinds of resin coating, you know, top coat kind of, not resin, sorry, gel nail polishes you can use. And you can choose to do what you want. You can even use resin to back coat if that's what you want to do to make your earrings nice and flat. I just feel like this gives you, this is meant to touch the skin, so it gives you kind of an extra protection. There's something right there, a little hair. And so it kind of works out, you know. And it's all personal preference. however you want to sell your products. For us, this has been working out for quite a few years now. I used to covet. What's this? Isn't that the word? When you keep something to yourself and don't tell all your secrets. But I have learned that gets you nowhere. Because there's always going to be the person that's going to try and do what you do. I mean, we live in a free country. We live in a free world. People can do what they want. Some people don't have very good imaginations to create their own ideas, which is fine. But you might as well give out the information to everyone yourself. You might as well share what you know. Then everybody can be successful. And if people are going to copy what you're doing, then they now know fully how to do it the right way, in my opinion. And we all know what they say about opinions. Wow, that looks super pretty once it gets top coated. Again, I'm just flicking that to the edge, creating that dome on there so that it is nice and neat, and I don't have to worry about, you know, anything catching on clothing or a purse or, you know, anything like that. That looks stunning once it's covered over. I even had to get out a new lighter because my other one went poof, and my husband refills them for me. So that looks really good. Look how pretty that red is. Hopefully I've been in frame this whole time. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to probably put you on a time lapse while I dome the front, because in my opinion, you've seen us do that. You know how to do that. You know the steps. If anybody wants to see that, we have previous videos that show the doming and how to do that. I'm so glad that I decided to remake these, because these have so many air bubbles in places you don't want air bubbles. These are actually ready to come out. I'm going to take a swab, alcohol swab, just to, you got to wipe it to get that sticky coat off. So I'm going to just wipe the back off. And that back looks great. Okay, we're going to let that dry before we stick it back down. Going to get the second one out and do the same to it. That one actually is stuck down to the acrylic block a little bit better. And there you have it. I'm going to get a clean wipe just to make sure that everything is nice and wiped off. That tape is still quite sticky. I'm going to dry this on my pant, and I'm going to stick it on there before I start the time lapse. Okay. Just going to kind of make sure that red is nice and paint free. It's not sticking like I'd like it to. So just with one coat, that is perfect. I'm just going to keep running that in the lamp. So I'll do one in real time, and then I will continue in the time lapse. Just so that you can see the difference that it makes. That is not sticking very well. I should have gotten a new piece of tape. So I kind of go along that edge where the white detail is, because you can get little air bubbles down close to the paint. And all it does is kind of give it a place to flow the resin into. And you can get air bubbles in those little spots. So I really wish that was sticking better, but it is not. Okay. We're going to get a little bit of tape, and I am going to stick it down. Then, without spilling it, I'm going to stick that to it. And I'm just going to push it down so that it's stuck. And all you're doing is very carefully taking it to that edge. You don't want it to go over. If you had any air bubbles on that edge that might cause a run, you want to make sure you fill those in first with a high viscosity. And maybe you might have to sand it as well. So even though I feel like I could add a little bit more resin to this, I'm not. I'm going to try and go with what I have. And then if I need more, I'll do a doming coat. Another coat, I'm sorry. A second coat. But for now, I am pretty happy with this. We got a little bit of an air bubble there, but we will address that on the second coat and see what it does. Right now, I'm just taking it to that outside edge all the way around, being patient, making sure that it's nice and smooth. There's no air bubbles and there's no little spots that it's pulled back from. If it has, just move a little bit more resin to that edge. Add a little bit to that edge. If you push it over, it'll create it may take a couple of times. You may find yourself moving more resin to that edge a few times. But when you get the amount right, it will stick and it will stay. As you can see, mine keeps pulling away at the same spots, basically. But I think to save it not spilling over and having too much, I am going to keep this amount and do a second coat. I just want to go over all the details to make sure that I don't have any little air bubbles down at the bottom. And as you can see, the lighter takes a lot of that away. Bring this up closer so that you can see how nice and shiny that is. We're going to put that right in the lamp and going to let that cure, and then I will bring you back on time lapse. Okay, got everything finished. I'll bring these up close. This is the Overpour Butterfly with that Let's Resin black and white. Just stuck one of these faux leather tassels on there. This was on a little pack of charms from like Michael's or somewhere. And then I put Adored and a butterfly. And these will be free gift with purchase on our Etsy shop. And these are the finished earrings. Rubber nuts on the back. All sterling silver. If you want to see how to assemble the earrings, go back to one of our previous videos. And I will be back with photos. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I'm getting better at this. I can't promise anything. Again, full disclosure, this is what we started with, but this is what we ended with. I finally got a pair of earrings out of this mold. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we have a link to our Etsy shop to buy everything we make. We have car coasters. We have a variety. Fun and quirky. Earrings and accessories. There's keychains on there. There's plenty of things that just about a gift for anyone. That is linked below, as well as links for all our discount codes on the mold, the resin, and our glitter company. Thank you so much. Have a great day.